Welcome everybody to this week's Dissecting Design. We are going to be taking a look at Spec Ops the Line. This is one of the more interesting third-person shooters released in the last few years, thanks to a very provocative story, and the game basically breaking some major fourth walls. And one of the first things it does is this intro, or the title screen here, that shifts and changes based on your progress in the campaign. Now, while the game does have a very interesting story, again, especially for this kind of genre and series, it doesn't quite get there with the gameplay, as we'll talk about later on. But first, let's load up the first mission, and we'll talk about the basic game structure. Alright, welcome to the first chapter of the game. First off, it still looks incredibly beautiful and very stylized, even after the years have gone by. But the story basically begins with our Delta Force crew here. We're going to Dubai after it's been basically buried in sand. With the military outfit, the 33rd, staying behind to try and maintain control and get people out. But it's been several months and the place went dark. So now it's up to us to try and figure out what's going on. And that's the basic story of the game. But things are going to get a lot more interesting as we go further in. Now, the whole foundation of the gameplay of Spec Ops the Line is cover-based shooting. I'm playing it right now at the second hardest difficulty, but at this point, basically being outside of cover, I'm dead. You can maybe take a few hits, and that's about it. Now, the good thing is that it also falls on the enemies as well. Now, one other thing before things get going for real, that this is a game that is very violent and has some very disturbing imagery. So, I think this may be the time we may have to say there is a trigger warning for this game. And I'll give you the heads up as to when we get to the really bad stuff.
I don't need light. Need you focused on the mission.
What mission? We're basically poking a dead dog with a stick.
We have our orders. Locate survivors in the city immediately. Get command from outside the storm wall. Send in the cavalry. Go home.
Alright. Surely things will go perfectly according to plan, right? But the developers talk about some of the major inspirations for Spec Ops the Line, including Heart of Darkness, I think Apocalypse Now, and of course, a lot of this game is about playing with the conventions of military-based shooters, and we'll talk more about that one later on.
Leave it alone. No one's out there.
And what the fuck are we doing here?
Oh yeah, and there will be a lot of swearing, too.
Are you taking his side now?
When he's right, he's right.
Hey, command wants us to look around, we look around.
I don't know. Sounds like a waste of 3 stone-cold, ruggedly handsome Delta operators such as ourselves.
Think of it as a paid vacation.
Well, for future reference, I prefer my beaches with a 3-to-1 sexy lady dead body ratio.
Lugo, do you ever actually hear the shit coming out of your mouth?
No, I do not, sir. I find it messes with my rhythm.
And our main character is, of course, voiced by everybody's favorite Nolan North. Alright, we're about to have some fun, folks. There's our character Walker as he is now. Pay attention to this model, because you're going to see some changes over the course of this video.
Someone built this out of spare parts.
Any idea who?
No, not a fucking clue.
Alright.
God damn it. Walker, you better come see this.
Oh, fuck.
That's putting it lightly.
This is not the worst thing we're going to see tonight, either.
Body looks fresh.
It is. Even worse, he's 33rd.
Who did this?
Probably the same people been ghosting us.
That doesn't answer the question.
Don't worry. I think we're about to find out.
My name is Captain Martin Walker.
We're looking for survivors.
Now, another major part of Spec Ops the Line is having to make tough choices. That they won't change how the story plays, but they'll kind of affect like the morality of Walker.
Good call, Lugo.
This could go south real fast. See that bus over there? Push comes to shove, shoot out the windows.
The game, the developers talked about giving a little bit more dynamic nature to the gunplay by being able to do stuff like this. As you can see, we took a lot of damage very fast.
They're refugees, survivors of the storm. That's good, right? This is radio command. Get on the news. Be my guest. I'm sure they'll stop shooting so you can make a phone call.
There we go. But yeah, like I said, everybody is very paper thin in terms of the damage they can take.
On your left, more coming over the dude.
One good shot to the head will kill most enemies. I'm gonna take this Uzi.
We're in position. Waiting
Second.
for your command.
There we go. Alright, go for it. And you can order your squad to help you, like so. Goodbye.
It's clear. Come on.
Go, team, go.
Keep moving. Out the back.
Grenade. Take cover.
Where's he hiding?
Billboard across the way. Give me the word and I'll
So now I can have Lugo here do a snipe. I do have to keep my people alive. There is some sense of Ludo narrative dissonance, as these three guys can take a whole lot of punishment.
On top of that bus. Take him down.
There. See him?
But like I said, this is all about cover-based shooting. Get out of position or get caught out of position and you are dead.
Another group coming out of that
If I was playing this on the highest difficulty, foobar, basically one hit will put me into gray.
Head for that cargo box.
Come on, team, we can do this. And there are some very painful executions as well in this.
Thought we were rescuing people. The hell was that?
But the environmental design of Spec Ops the Line is really amazing. You're not going to be seeing too much of it in this video, but there are some jaw-droppingly beautiful set pieces in this game.
Shit! Markson's down! We need backup!
Lugo, distance.
About 100 yards away.
Let's move.
Contact!
Uh-oh. Oh, that's another bit of a complaint. Sometimes your dash doesn't want to come out. But we get a look at some of these lovely loading screens. Keep this in the back of your head because it's not going to be as lovely near the end of this video. But I can fast forward through that.
There. See him?
Oh, remember what I said about cover? And remember, this is the second hardest difficulty. There is still one higher. But the game itself is built on set pieces.
Got eyes on the target.
Come on. There you go.
Ready to take
That's better.
50 cal. Pin down. Make that turn and take it out.
See, he will only go for cover as more of a contextual thing.
We can't hit him.
So you gotta be really careful about when you're going.
Gotta reload.
You're out. There we go, that's better. But like I said, everybody is very paper thin in this game. Which is kind of what makes the higher difficulties doable.
This way.
Come on, team. I'll switch over to my 9mm Uzi.
Mayday! Mayday! This is Alpha Patrol, requesting immediate assistance. Is anyone out there?
Now, right now, Spec Ops the Line is still in what we commonly see from military-based shooters. We're fighting a lot of insurgents. It's up to us to save the soldiers, that kind of thing.
Thank fucking Christ. I think Markson's dead.
Are you hurt? Is anyone else with you?
There's 4 of us. We're okay, but we're running out of ammo. Can't keep them back for much longer.
Okay, stay cool. We're almost there.
What do we got?
Our guys are pinned down in the fuselage.
We ain't been spotted yet. Might want to equip silencers.
Alright. So I can use my silencer now. You can also do it. I'm going to try to do a stealth kill here.
We've got bogeys! We got movement! On the wing!
Wow. Not even sure he shot me through that barrier, too. But we'll do this a little bit more range style. If we were playing this on the lower difficulties, you could just basically just Rambo this whole thing.
We ain't been spotted yet. Might want to equip silencers.
Alright. This guy sucks, he didn't even see us.
Contact!
Alright.
On the wing!
Man, he's not going down, is he? There we go. Now, the different weapons have different effective ranges and tactics. The shotgun is, as obviously, is brutal in close range. Oh, geez, that hurt. Let's see, can I command my boys to go after them?
Got it! Taking him out!
Come on, get in there. There's one. Alright, is that everybody?
Shotgunner coming our way! Got the target!
That was an RPG guy.
Oh shit! We got more coming from the rear of the plane!
Well, I don't think we need to go silent anymore, do you? Come on, team. But yeah, your friends are really good at dealing with enemies, and it's a very effective strategy at the higher difficulties. Just let them take the bullets here.
Target neutralized!
Most enemies are going to be of this variety, but there are advanced guys wearing heavy armor. He's fine.
On the move!
But yeah, like I said, I can be killed very quickly here. That's it. Time for a shotgun.
In the doorway!
Enemy down!
Like I said, the shotgun will kill just about anyone in a single shot at close range.
Heads up! Shotgun! Coming for us! Hostile! He's down!
But obviously it's not as effective at long range. Alright, you're out. Alright, can you guys give me help? Alright, got him.
On the move!
Did I get him? But notice how much damage he did to me in that one shot.
Hostile down!
Oh, thank you, Abrams. I'm going to switch over to the AK. There we go. Uh-oh.
Shit. Got a hostage situation.
Alright, calm down and let him go.
There we get him in time? Go team.
You're gonna have to talk fast, boss. He's fading.
We're here to help. Just stay with me, all right?
Forgive me. Doug McPherson. You gotta find him.
We will, but I need you to tell me where they took him.
They took him to the nest.
Nest, all right, good. What
And
about
Conrad is the leader of the 33rd.
God damn it. Lugo, mark the bodies on tack. Adams, check outside for tracks. I want to know what the hell is going on in this city.
Got multiple tracks headed north.
Then we follow him.
But as you can see through this first level, Spec Ops the Line starts out purposely as your regular old military shooter. We gotta kill the bad guys, save the day, be the hero. But as we're going to fast forward in about 10 seconds, it does not stay that way.
The minute we found U.S. soldiers butchered.
Fucking orders. I like it.
Orders ain't worth following if it means leaving people to die, Lugo. Conrad's still alive. I think he is. I know he'd agree with me.
There's a really good shot of the city coming up.
This is the nest.
Yeah, it's quaint. Very post-apocalyptic.
Just don't get cocky.
Again, the views in this game are just impressive. But while things are all happy now, it's time to fast forward and talk about how things get very dark. And we're about to get to some very disturbing stuff next. Alright, we're back to the main menu just so I can show you guys how things change as you go through the campaign. But it's time to show off one of the major dark parts of Spec Ops the Line. And that occurs at the gate. Let me just exit this part out. Doesn't really matter what the difficulty is. And at this point, this is when the loading screens start to get a little bit more different. But, like I said, this is basically going to be a trigger warning, I'm afraid, because it's about to get very, very disturbing. And one of the most talked about scenes in Spec Ops the Line.
All you boys in brown out there in Radio Land, I'm happy to report that Agent Gould has left the building. Next up on our countdown.
Plus, as you can see, Walker here isn't looking too good. But you'll see more of that in the next part.
Radio Man out.
So this is the gate, which is basically one of the major military outposts of the 33rd.
I'm on it.
All right, Lugo. What are we up against?
An army? Give or take?
Oh, shit.
How are we getting through this? This might help.
Fine. Set it up.
You're fucking kidding, right? That's white phosphorus.
I know what it is.
You've seen what this shit does. You know we
We might
can't
not have a
use it.
choice, Lugo.
There's always a choice.
There's really not.
Basically, white phosphorus is a very dangerous chemical that's going to cause a lot of damage. And unfortunately, the game is set up that there is no way to get around. So, like I said, be ready, folks. It's about to get very nasty.
Okay, prepare to fire.
That in order?
Yeah, it is.
Launching camera. Camera online, sir.
But
Okay, targeting online. You ready? Whenever you are.
Stand by.
boom.
RPG's neutralized.
And knows you can see Walker's face in the reflection there.
Loading mortar.
Yeah, this may look very PC at the moment, but trust me, it's not going to be in the next 30 seconds. Good. Notice all those body signs over there. Oh boy. And this should be the last one. Oh. Oh, we did it.
No one's moving. It's over.
That's right, Walker.
Okay. We're done.
Like I said, it's about to get very nasty.
Let's get down there.
Most video games that deal with stuff like this, especially the Call of Duty games, tend to keep things relatively clean. Yes, people are going to get killed and shot, but we never really see like full destruction or full destructive havoc. Not like what we're about to witness, folks. And like I said, it is not going to be pretty. That guy doesn't have a leg anymore.
Stop talking.
You should say. It means the smoke is toxic. Keep your mouth shut. Yeah, right.
Let's just keep.
So as you can see, we certainly did a number here. And this is one of the major themes of Spec Ops the Line, and dealing with very disturbing imagery and basically PTSD and the struggles that can come about from being in very violent conflicts like this. And like I said, the game really doesn't shy away from it.
You brought this on yourself. We were helping. What?
Get ready, folks.
Oh no.
So for those of you who play this for the first time, I'm curious what you thought after watching this scene. But while things start out as a very pro-military, pro-shooter, this is when things really start to turn.
Where'd they come from? There's no camp here.
They took him from the nest.
That hotel back at the storm wall? No. Those can't be the civvies that got kidnapped. It's not possible.
Yeah, it is. That's why Gould stormed this place. He didn't want the king. He was trying to rescue his people.
This is your fault, goddammit! Stop it! What it is? You wouldn't really have a choice! He turned us into fucking cowards and
We need to keep moving.
What?
Reinforcements will be here any second. We need to keep moving.
Walker, you're not even...
I'm gonna make these bastards pay for what they've done. Now, are you with me or not?
But this is when we start to see Walker's mental state start to deteriorate. And like I said, a lot of this game starts to turn around this point in terms of what developers wanted to say regarding the pro-military, pro-first-person shooter genre. And again, you gotta be really careful when you do stuff like this, especially as we're now heading back into conflict.
Here they come!
Take cover!
Protect fire! Push forward!
Pick up the high ground!
I don't care! We're taking that gate!
And Walker here gets more and more ragged as time goes on.
I'm pinned down! There's too much goddamn fire! He's exposed! Take him down! Jesus!
Oh, that's him.
Gotta reload!
Can we make it? Ooh, very close. And I hope you're noticing the enemies that we're fighting, because that's going to play a big part in our next section. Uh-oh. Can I make it? Oh, I never used any of my grenades, too. Let's see. Any grenades left to use? Come on, buddy.
Special delivery!
Come on, shotgun, do your thing. Let's see.
Under fire! Taking cover!
Get your ass over there!
There
and
you
help
go.
him.
Okay, I'll help him out!
There you go, buddy. Enjoy. Ooh.
Fucking stay down!
Friendly fire! Goddammit! Yeah, attention and action!
Him up. But we did that discussion about storytelling and serious storytelling. This is pretty much the example that I was talking about, where you have a very disturbing scene, and then you immediately go into gunplay. Him out. Come on.
Let's go!
But with that said, I think we've seen enough here for right now. I'm going to fast forward to near the end of the game, and we'll talk about how things get further in terms of dispelling the pro-military shooter gameplay. Alright, we're on the second to last level of Spec Ops the Line, and Walker, as you can see, has been through hell. The model has been completely changed, and we're at the point now where we can talk about how things really go against what we normally see from the military shooter genre. So, let's point out the obvious one. The Americans are the bad guys in this game. And during that last section in this one, we are killing nothing but American soldiers. And that's not something we normally see in a military shooter.
Eyes on that shotgun now!
Come on. Him out. Again, normally in these games, it will be usually the locals or the insurgents who are the bad guys. But at this point, we are basically just going after nothing but American soldiers. Oh. And now we're going to hopefully see some of the weirder loading screens. There we go, perfect. The game is now at the point where it's just outright questioning why you're still playing it.
You ready? Why not? No one lives forever.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this. Keep him off me for a second!
And our friend Luco is no longer with us either, I'm afraid.
You see what I'm saying?
Take him out.
Another one.
Now, the overall gameplay of Spec Ops does not change. They do introduce new kind of troops and weapons, but it mainly is going to be about this cover-based shooting. Goodbye. Go down. And Walker's entire demeanor changes as well.
Eyes on that shotgun now!
Uh-oh.
Hostile moving! Watch
Did we
it!
survive? Whew. Yeah, I'm playing this on the second hardest difficulty, and it still is very hard to survive. That's it.
Take cover!
One moving out of cover!
There should be a sniper around, too.
Flash! No!
Oof. Yeah, the sniper's gonna be a pain in this. It's right up there. No more sniper. But yeah, at this point in the game, Walker has just, you know, gone bye-bye in terms of mental. Especially how he's talking now. Make it. There we go. I'm gonna take a kill in a second. We'll see if we get any more disturbing loading screens.
He's going for it.
Are they coming? There we go. I see you, buddy.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's not. Walker is not exactly talking anymore about being friendly to our guys here. Any more guys need to go? And a heavy gun is going to be annoying. Let's see. Can I get a shot? Uh-oh. Where's our friend here? Let's see if we get another shot. Or another grenade at him. Oh! But I can also use the sand as a distraction. But also notice how a lot of enemies just seem to spawn out of nowhere to get us. Now there's an elite.
Flash! No!
Are you guys dead yet? But yeah, let's take it. Also, notice how long it's been since we actually had a checkpoint, too.
Kill is fucking confirmed.
The whole North is pissed, folks. And that's not good. But, I'm going to take an intentional death, I think. We're at the next checkpoint.
Here I go.
How am I still not dead? I'm actually surprised I didn't kill me. Are they dead yet? Oh yeah, and the executions get a lot more violent now, as you can see. Alright, there's our checkpoint. So now I can die pretty much, and we can, as often as we want, and I can show you some more of the very disturbing loading screens. Hopefully we'll get a few more. But as I was saying, this game really tries to demystify the allure of military shooters and just war in general. And here's a bit of a hallucination, or is it a hallucination? It's very hard to tell in a game like this.
What are you doing?
Uh-oh.
We need to take out that mortar.
Another shot from that mortar and we're fucking dead.
Oh good, an RPG.
Take it out. We'll keep these guys busy.
Peekaboo. Alright, but now I'm gonna let them kill me, hopefully.
Shotgun on the field. Watch your ass.
Kill me. There we go. And let's see some of the more interesting loading screens when we get them. There we go. Perfect. If you were a better person, you wouldn't be here. And yeah, the game, like I said, tries to really ask the question, why are you still playing it, no matter how disturbing things have gotten?
Pay attention to that shotgun.
Let's see if we get another one. You definitely can't be a one-man army at this point, can you? There we go. That's another great one to get. But again, this is what kind of separates Spec Ops the Line, and I think still to this day. Because we don't see shooters, especially from a major studio, with a very pretty much an anti-American settlement like this. Let's see what else we can grab here. Oh, well, this is a normal loading screen tip. Nothing too disturbing. But again, the choices of Spec Ops the Line are about basically choosing the least bad option. Not a good option, mind you, just what is the one you're willing to live with. Don't know how they did not kill me there, but we got at least an execution going. There we go. Oh, that's another great one. If Lugo were still alive, he would likely suffer from PTSD, so really, he's the lucky one in all this. Yeah, like I said, at this point, the game is not trying at all to confuse about its message. It's kind of weird that the game doesn't let you be recovered. Like, it doesn't let Walker get healed while the other guys can just take tons and tons of damage. But yeah, there aren't too many enemy types. I'm going to talk about some of the issues I have with the game in our next section. I'm going to see if we can get maybe one more. Goodbye. Ooh. I did not think I actually hit him with the sticky there. Alright, can he make it? Oh, oh. Alright, we made it into cover. Run, Walker, run! And the game really calls into question just who is the good guy here. If there are any good guys. Oh, the grenade got me, I was kind of stuck. You are still a good person. This is one of those games where you really do need that affirmation or reaffirmation there. But with that said, though, I'm going to go back to the main title screen. I want to talk about some of my final thoughts and where the game kind of messes up on next. Alright, let's get to my final thoughts as we begin to wrap up our look at Spec Ops the Line with this very lovely image, as you can see. The game definitely turned a lot of heads when it was originally released. Again, thanks to the story and very unique depiction of military shooters and the military in general. Like I said, you don't normally see a game from a major studio that has you outright killing Americans and having them be the bad guy here. And as our sniper there is being pecked to death by crows, we can keep talking about it. But the game is not perfect, not by a long shot. The gameplay is of the very repetitive kind, as you're moving from set piece to set piece, and that's about it. There are a few force sections or force vehicle sections to do, but you're still just going to be killing different guys in different locales with a few different guns. And as I said earlier, while there are some elements of choice in the game, they're not changing the story or how you play through it. There's no way you're getting past the gate other than to commit an atrocity. Now, the enemies do get very frustrating. You didn't see it in this video because I couldn't find a good section where it starts, but there's a mini boss of heavy armored guys. They normally use automatic shotguns, and on anything but like the lowest difficulties, they will one or two shot you if they connect. And the only way to really fight them is to basically play grenade tag with them, as you're trying to get away from their line of sight and just keep throwing grenades or shooting grenades to kill them. They are pretty much like almost like, I want to say like an anachronism in this game where they just don't fit to have these very bullet spongy enemies when everyone normally is very thin skinned. the game also throws in some more annoying areas, especially near the end of the game, that takes away your cover or limits it so much that it becomes a lot harder to survive when you are trying to not get killed from grenades or there's just nowhere for you to really run to. I just want to exit out for 1 second, make sure that things are looking good. But again, the point is, the story, just while it is shocking and provocative, it's not enough to carry the gameplay. And you may notice there is multiplayer as an option. There's including a co-op campaign, but the game was just not designed around the typical co-op based shooting. In fact, one of the designers on the game famously called it a cancerous growth on the CD when they were asked to make multiplayer for this game. So take that what you will. But the co-op side isn't too bad, but again, good luck trying to find someone to play with today. But as I said earlier, I'm curious what you folks think, whether you played it through when it came out, or after watching some of the scenes we showed off today. Again, there really aren't games like this, and it would have been interesting to see if they were able to make a sequel in this same vein, because previous Spec Ops games were your typical military shooters. This one, obviously, not so much. But we're going to wrap things up for today. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check back for daily discussions on game design here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games, with future Dissecting Design pieces up each Monday. But hopefully for our next one, it'll be something not as serious or as disturbing as this. So until next time, have a great day. Before we get to the credits, just a quick shout out and thank you to the supporters over on patreon.com/gwbicer. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check back around 10 Eastern for regular streaming. If you'd like to suggest games for me to cover or topics to talk about, let me know in the comments below. For a collection of my writings as well as weekly podcasts on design, check out game-wisdom.com. To support the Game Wisdom Patreon, you can find us on there on patreon.com/gwbicer. $1 will get you into our private Discord channel where we talk game topics and more. $5 will get you voting privileges for any major event, including the Saturday Night Grab Bag, Patreon-funded goals, and more. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoy more videos here on the Game Wisdom YouTube channel.